Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel Relapse Tackle. I wanted to thank all of you for your continued support and thank you all for sharing my videos and giving them likes and commenting on them and everything. I hit 746 subscribers last night and we're continuing to grow, so thank you all. And I wanted to make a jig today and kind of match my outfit, so I'm going to show you guys how to paint this poison tail with the UV fire red and black. So let's get to it. All right, so the stuff needed, we use the UV fire red Stardust. It's a non-glow, but it does reflect UV light, so a lot of fish see UV. So some black Stardust, my lure eyes, 3D eyes. These ones are like really high. They stick up quite a ways. I like using those. A black pro skirt. My forceps. This little tool I use to clean out the hook eye. And then clear Stardust. Once again, this is what we'll be recreating right now. So I got my torch. I'll lock this in with my forceps. Make sure that the jig is all cleaned up and ready to go. This one actually has a tiny bit of lead that I don't want right in that hook eye. So just gonna scrape it out of there. Now it's cleaned out. It's good. So I want to get this fairly hot, and I don't want to heat up the hook too much because I don't want to discolor the hook and I don't want to weaken the hook at all. So I'm holding it probably about an inch away from where the visible part of the flame is and getting it really hot. If you try this with standard powder paints and you get that jig that hot, it'll bubble up and look terrible. So Stardust is a little different. So it'll look kind of textured like that. And if you let it sit a little while, it'll smooth out and kind of, most of the time it'll look like a finished jig and it'll be ready to fish without curing it in the oven or anything. So I'm going to take this tool and I kind of have to hold it at an angle where you can't really see it all that well. But I'm getting older, so it's got to hold it at the angle that I can see it. And I will be looking at getting different cameras and changing up my camera angles and stuff, but everything costs money. And like I said in other videos, that this is just a hobby of mine, so I don't make money off of YouTube or anything like that. So this takes a little bit to get the hook eye cleaned out the way you want it, and I'm also trying to not pull too much of it away from the nose of the jig. And if you brush up against it when it's not all the way heated up, you can brush that off. So what I'll do is I'm just gonna touch this one up real quick. So I heat it up again a little bit, and then I'll sprinkle the paint into those flawed areas that I messed up. So with the color, like the UV fire red, you want to hold it a little bit further away to reheat the jig. So it'll take a little bit more heat to get that heated up. If you hold it directly over the flame and you don't move it past the flame like this, you can get like little, where it discolors the paint and it looks like a more orange than red. So I'm just sprinkling it in to fill in those spots that I screwed up. If I would have had a little more heat into the jig prior to starting, it wouldn't brush off like that, and it would look a lot better. And if there's a lot of lead showing like this, you can go back and dip it again. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of flash heat it real quick. Put my pin back in. I'm trying to keep this coat kind of thin, so it takes a little bit to get it right, but once you get the hang of it, then you're good to go. But I just decided to shoot this video, and I haven't been painting for a little while, so and that UV fire red jig I actually made the other day, and I just threw a skirt on it, put up some pictures of it, and then I figured I should probably do a video showing how I did that one. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm back here. I can just kind of scrape that away or slide the paint up towards the skirt collar. I'm going to pull the pin out. I leave the pin in to let it cool down a little bit, because if any of the paint sticks to that pin, you'll pull it right off of the jig around the hole. And I like to leave the paint where it should be and not expose a bunch of lead. So now I'm going to heat it again. I got it thick enough now. I don't like just heating up the lead really hot and then dipping it in there and leaving it set for too long, because then it can get too thick and cover up some detail. So I'd rather just take my time, dip them in thin coats. So now we got it warm, and you can sprinkle it however you please. We're not going to worry about putting the fiber weed guard pin in. Okay, I want a little bit down there too, so just kind of sprinkled random. Some people are better at sprinkling paint than others. And now what I'm going to do is I'll actually just kind of flash heat. And when you get the black hot, like you're flashing it like that, it will kind of bleed out a little bit. And that is more of the look that I'm after. So just going to do that real quick. And then I'm going to take my clear Stardust, and I'm going to sprinkle that in too. Now that paint's hot. All right. Now we're going to flash it again. It'll make a little bit of smoke. I was careful not to dump a bunch down in the hole. I'll hold it up a little bit further away, because I don't want to I don't want to burn it. I don't want to discolor it. And it might be a little discolored because of the black, how I dumped it in there. It might be blended into the red a little bit. All right. Now I'll take my lure eyes. I usually just stick them to myself so that they're a little easier than trying to peel off the paper. And I want that paint pretty warm so that when I push my eyes in, they're sunk down in the paint so that they don't fall off. It can be tricky getting them to release off of your tweezers though. So there you have it. And I do all of the colors before putting the eyes in. And I don't clear over the eyes because some lure eyes can't take that much heat and they'll start to fall apart and melt and look terrible. So now you're going to want to let that cool down a little bit, and then you could chill it in water. But with a fiber weed guard hold, I would rather let them cool down on their own so that you don't introduce water into the hole there. I was just checking to make sure that my hole was still open well enough for the 1/8" fiber weed guard, because I could have sprinkled some paint and got some paint down inside the hole. So when it's still warm, I can kind of just slide it and push it down. I don't put a lot of heat into the fiber weed guards either because they can't really take the heat and they get all frayed out and look bad too. So this jig is cooled down a little bit. So now I'm going to take my skirt, and you'll want to flip this so that it's on the inside unless you want a real flat skirt. I prefer the more poofed out skirt. And then this is a modified jig here too. So I got the metal bait keeper. If you buy the poison tail mold, it'll have, the one that I bought had 2 of these collars that look very similar, but not a metal bait keeper. So then slide it all the way up like so. I want to make sure it's all the way up on that collar to help hold it. Then I'll take this stainless steel wire I got from Grainger, the 16Y044. It's pretty soft stuff. And what I do is I wrap it around and then pinch it together a little bit. And I'll start to twist it by hand. Then I take this needle nose pliers. It's a smooth jaw pliers. And then I wrap that tight. These ones you can wrap a little bit tighter than just the skirt tabs by themselves. Skirt tabs that are just the round strands, for flat strands like these. If you try to wrap it too tight, it'll cut right through. But this Pro Skirt has, it's like a flat, the flat material is not cut, and they wrap it around and glue it. So after I get that twisted, then I can cut a little bit of it off. I try to leave, you know, a little bit sticking out so that I can grab a hold of it, and then I bend it back into the skirt so that it doesn't get hung up on anything and it's not real sharp. And pull the skirt back, and then I'll take that Loctite Ultra Gel and put in a very tiny amount, just a little dab down inside the hole. You can see it at all. And then take your black 1/8 inch Faber Weed Guard, and I just push it in there, turn it a little bit, and let it cure. And then that one is ready to fish. So then I'll show you what it looks like under a UV light. Alright, so it's non-glow, but it's UV. And my phone is trying to focus on other things, sorry about that. But there you have it. So, like I said, non-glow. Oops, hit the wrong switch on the wall. Alright, thanks for watching. Like I said, please subscribe for more videos. Help me expand the channel and come up with new ideas. You guys help out a lot. Put your comments in there, and I'll try to answer them the best I can. And then if you have other ideas, be sure to include those so that I can help you out or just make more videos.